In my many years of interacting with students, right, there is something that has always been a challenge for many students at various levels, in fact. That's the question around how do I find, a research topic? How do I come up with a research topic? And you find this from students who are in their final years, or people who are in their postgraduate, programs. They're always concerned about project topic, research project topics, right? So I want to answer that question today. How do you find, or how do you decide on a good research project topic? All right. Now, this is what I tell students who I come across with this difficulty. This is what I tell them. The first thing I tell them is to find your interest. All right. Find your interest. Of course, in your journey through school, through your academic process, or through your academic journey, you have come across so many subject matters. You have come across so many. You have taken so many courses. You have read a few articles, a few newspapers, a few blog posts. You are conversant with what is going on in that your field of study, basically. All right. So find one of the many areas that you have come across in that your area of discipline that interests you. What is that one area that interests you? That interests you so much that you so desire to see a change in that area. All right. That's the first thing I tell them. Find your interest. What is your interest? When you discover your interest, when you're able to say, I'm really interested in this thing, then you have begun the process of deciding, getting a good project topic. The second thing is to look for a problem in that area of interest that you have found. All right. So if you found an area of interest, so for instance, you're interested in good elections, or you're interested in elections. Just using that as an example, you're interested in elections, and of course, power change. Change in political power. All right, and one of the areas that one of the problems in that area is the fact that there are no good electoral laws, perhaps, that help to midwife the electoral process. Okay, then you have discovered a problem. The electoral laws is the problem. All right. Now, what area of the electoral law? Because you don't want to have a project that is very broad. You want to have a project that is specific. All right. Your project goals should be specific. They should be smart. They should be specific. They should be measurable. They should be realistic, timely, and all those things. All right. So you don't want a very broad subject matter or area that you'll not be able to cover within the time that you have to do the project. So be more particular about specifics, about narrowing down the problem that you intend to solve by this project, or you intend to contribute to. Narrow it down so that it is sizable enough for you to deal with within the time that you have. All right. So what have I said? Find your interests. All right. Then look for a problem in that area of interest. Definitely, there are a million problems. There are problems everywhere you turn. So you will definitely be able to find a problem in that area of interest. Now, when you have found that problem that is sizable enough for you to manage, do a mini literature scan on that area, to see how much literature do you have in this area. Is it an area that you're going to have to develop much of the literature yourself, or is there already available material out there that you can use in the process of your writing, writing up your study? All right, so do a brief literature scan just to be sure of the amount of information that you have out there on this area that you have of interest that you have, and this problem that you are deciding to take on. Okay, so once you have done that, and you're confident that literature abounds in that area, all right, then you now go on to drafting or proposing some research objectives, what you want to achieve exactly with the research, and basically begin the proposal writing. Okay, the topic of a research project is always the very last thing to decide on. the very last. In fact, topics go through a cycle throughout the project journey. Of course, a topic is just a label that your project has, and that label is not cast in stone. So the label continues to change, the label continues to be refined, the label continues to transform until it eventually befits the project that you have written. All right, it eventually befits the project you have written. So think about it as a function you want to attend, right? A function you want to attend, and you're looking for what outfit you want to wear to attend this function, and then you keep trying out outfits and trying out matching colors and all of these things until you eventually get what you think is the perfect fit for you to attend that occasion. All right, when you get to the occasion, you see people wearing other different kinds of things, other combinations, other colors, so it means that bringing it back to project writing is that what topic you have decided to wear your project might not, it's not cast in stone. Somebody else could look at the same project and give it another outfit. Somebody else could look at, another person could look at the same project and give it another topic. So it's not really about the topic, right? It's about the interests, about the problem you're solving. It's about, the objectives of your research. Okay. So, and that's why you find out that people who have discovered their interests, who have found a problem they want to contribute to, who have done a literature search, who have crafted, very smart, specific research objectives, it's difficult for you to sway them out of that research area, all right, because they seem to have a direction already, all right. But when you don't have these things sorted and you're just looking for a topic, people can push you from elections to gender issues to space management to environmental sustainability to climate change. They can just push you from here to there, push you all around the place, and there's really no focus. All right, there's really no focus because you haven't discovered your interest area. You have not found any problem you want to specifically contribute to, and you have not basically done your due diligence. So if you are in that stage of your research where you're looking for what topic to write on, I would suggest that you first of all discover an interest area, or discover an area that you're interested in. All right, in that area, look for a problem that you want to contribute to. You might either want to contribute to solving it, or you want to emphasize the solution that has already been proposed. It could come from different perspectives. All right, do a brief literature search to be sure that you have sufficient information, that you need to write up the project, because project is about writing. All right, and if you have to do some field work as well, then you consider that too, and then set up your research objectives and questions and all that, and then let the topic sort itself out, right? Because the topic is the least of your worries. Quite frankly, the topic is the least of your worries. All right. So I hope that you find this helpful. If you think that this video has helped you, I would like to hear your feedback in the comment section. How did it help you? Basically, what exactly did you try differently that gave you a different result? What have you tried in the past that maybe aligns with what I have said? That you think is worth emphasizing. Please emphasize that in the comment section. Just somebody else could be reading and could find that useful as well. So thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.